your doubts. So anybody who has a doubt, I suggest raise their hand, and then I'm going to come and solve each of your doubts one by one. Let me just start with the introduction. So week one is obviously over, but you can still submit your family genealogy video, like submit as in the URL, the YouTube URL. You have to submit on the portal, the MD book, and some marks will be deducted, but it is better than getting nothing basically. And you can cover up the marks as we go through the consecutive weeks that we have. In week two, we are going to learn about Blender, the primary software that we are going to use to make our 3D models. So this week, we're going to tackle that problem. And the next live session is going to be on Friday. And on Friday, we're going to talk a little bit about artifact selection and delve into the history section of this competition. And we'll go ahead with this. So today, we'll learn about Blender a little bit and basically uh, move through those tasks. Cool. So we will move into asking doubts from people. So the first question, I think, Ridan, you can ask a question.
Yes, sir. So I had the question. So you've given us both the week two and week three things on the MD book, right?
Yes.
So is the final thing because going to be a team thing? Because on the week three you've written that now we'll start be using the team.
So the finals, basically, it is a competition where you can form teams. So in a team, there could be one participant, there could be maximum four participants. Uh, so in Blender, because everybody has to learn Blender, there will be a few individual submissions. But after that, once we get into the history side of things, like start working on the history related tasks, everything will become a team task. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. But for the final task, which is going to be like our artifact, will that be a team or a single?
It's a team effort.
Okay, so thank you.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Is there any other question in the chat box? Somebody is asking me, sir, can I get the recording of this meeting? Yes, every meeting is recorded and it will be uploaded in the MD book. A doubt, or are you going to tell us about the task? I will tell you about the tasks also in this session. We'll go through the tasks together and figure this out. While, but I want to clear a few doubts before I enter into screen sharing and all that. Tanmaya, next question.
Sir, is week two individual submission or team submission?
So week two and week three we have released together. So in week two, there are individual submissions like Blender is a Blender related tasks. The Blender beginning tasks is an individual submission. And there is a history section also in week two and three. That history related task is a team submission. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
There's another question. I have a doubt that I'm doing this all alone and don't have a team. Is that okay? It is okay. Uh, Previously, also, there are participants who have participated individually and they have actually won also. They've gone to grand finales, they've come first, second, and third. So don't worry. Aruhi,
So one person teams are allowed. So for the group submission task, how are we supposed to like submit the task?
so in group submission, you can select a person who is going to submit on behalf of the team. Not everybody has to submit. One person can submit, and that will be reflected on everybody's.
No, so like, what if only one person is there in the team?
Then it is okay. You can submit, and basically marks will be given as teams are formed, basically. So it doesn't,
Madhu sir, if
yeah.
I may give some clarity about this, please guys remember, if you're just one person, then you're an individual participating. Alright, teams will be anything that is two, three, and four people. Two or more people with maximum four people in a team. So if you are alone, every single task that is a part of our entire module is an individual task for you because you don't have a team, you're participating by yourself. For those who are in a team which is two people or more than two people, maximum four people, we will let you know which tasks are individual tasks, which means that those tasks will have to be submitted by every team member through their own portal. When we tell you that the upcoming week's task is a team task, that means one person from your team will have to submit the task from their profile. And since we have you recognized as your team numbers, the markings for those tasks will be considered when your your teammate or your team leader submits the task. Does that solve your doubt, Arohi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, all right.
Great, thank you. Purab,
Yes, sir. Sir, the date for last submission was. Can you tell?
for which task?
Hello.
Which task? This.
This video I was not able. This video I was not able to upload.
Okay, so the last date for submission, wait, I put it on the group. It is on Monday, 24th Feb.
Okay, sir. So can you suggest any that editing app on laptop?
Yeah, so we have talked about Canva. So why we recommend Canva is because it already has nice assets which you can use, like videos and graphics and backgrounds and audio effects. So all those Canva already has. And
Sir, can you send the app name in the group?
okay, just type it here on the chat, canva.com. So if you go into the live session recording, which is available in the MD book, then we have spoken about Canva in detail. And there are many, many tutorials on YouTube on how to use Canva also. Even we just touched the basics. So you can basically learn Canva very, very fast and start working on it. So yeah, I hope that will help. One more doubt is I took a bona fide certificate. So is it okay if I submit it? Yeah, so photo of the bona fide is fine. Uh, we will check if the photo works for us. If it doesn't work for us, we will contact you. Okay. Not able to get size of the legs. Now at the cube of the floor. Okay. So someone has already entered into the Blender task and they're asking Blender doubts. So we're gonna tackle that now. Any questions till now? Till for week 1 and week 2? Week 2 we will enter now and we will basically talk about wrong school. So somebody has put in
Uh,
a school name. So please send me a WhatsApp with your name and your student ID and what exactly is the problem, and I will forward it to my admin and they will take care of it. In week 2, we have made model table chair. Yes. Cool. Any more questions? Sanjana, do you want to say something?
yes, sir. I was just thinking that maybe we could give them the evaluation metrics right now so that later we don't have to double back to this when we are solving doubts for everyone.
Evaluation metrics for which task?
The gender is released 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
So
So
maybe we can just
some
make them aware of the submission.
cool. So I will talk about the Blender task first, and then about the
Okay, sir.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So guys, let's move into the next session of our live session. So this is about Blender. So just give me a second. Let me just log in. I'm still here. Don't go away. Okay. Uh, all right. So basically, let's talk about week two. I know week two and week three are released together, so you can go and check out what week three is also. But let's talk about week two. We'll go one step at a time. So in week two, let me just share my screen and show you what we have here quickly. Let me log out so that uh, we can start logging in again and share my screen. Great. Uh, I think I should also enable audio. Let me try again. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Great. So you can see my screen. Can someone confirm?
Yes, sir.
Great. So you basically first log in. So once you log in, you basically see something, and then you go into the top left, you go into My Competitions, and then go into Virtual Museum 6. So this was week one, overview, quiz, and problem statement. So now we have entered into week two, Blender beginnings. So we are going to learn about Blender. And people who are wondering where the live sessions are, so if you click on week one, this is the live session. Okay. This is the live session over here. So live sessions are exactly on week one, week two, places like that. Okay, so we're in week two. Let's collapse week one. Let's open week two. Week two is open. Let's click on overview. This week, we'll focus on important topics of the competition. Two topics we are going to cover, photogrammetry and Blender basics. So photogrammetry, we will tackle a little bit later. Let's talk about Blender and what is this all about. So if you click on view resource, it is going to open a new tab over here. And what this new tab does, it basically has all the learning material over here. Okay. And where do you have to submit? If you click on Blender week two, Blender beginnings problem statement, it says, please click on week two submission details, get problem statement, submission accepted blend file, submission details. Please refer to task for MD book. Okay. Week two problem statement. Let's click on that. So week two problem statement is also over here. So it is similar to this. If I click on Blender beginning, this is learn task. This is where we are learning about stuff. And then this is task. So this and this is the same thing. So let me just close one. Let's look at Blender beginnings, photogrammetry and artifact selection, learn section. Week two. Let's learn about Blender. So how to install Blender, everything is written in Word format over here. But if you go on to YouTube over here and type here how to download Blender, how to download and install Blender. So you will get video format over here also. In Urdu and Hindi also, there are videos. So if you don't want to read and you want to only watch videos and learn, that is also a good way. Okay. So first thing is user interface. So we have spoken about uh, setting up preferences. I suggest everybody please see this video, the first video, setting up preferences, and set your Blender preferences according to this video. This will help a lot. And if your Blender is working differently from what I usually show, it is because of my preferences are a little different. What are preferences? Preferences are settings inside Blender, which are on your own. You have set them, custom preferences. Ridan, you have a question?
So my question was, is it okay if we use the newest version of Blender?
Yes, you can use new version of Blender.
Because
Basically,
in the learn section it says you need to download like the 3.2 version.
you can use the newer version. The user interface might be a little different, but it is fine. What usually happens is Blender is an open source software and it kind of releases two new versions every year. So every 6 months, it starts releasing a new version. So, and all the changes happen at a higher level. So we are basically learning Blender. So everybody who's used Blender has to go through these kind of videos, okay? These ice-breaking videos. And setting up preferences, primary menu, workspaces, customers. So these are good uh, videos, very small videos, and they will basically make you go through what Blender is like. But if you don't want to follow these, you can follow uh, this also, like user interface of Blender. If you type that overview, this is 5 years old, so this might be a little outdated. Ridan, if your question is done, so you can put your hand down. So if you go into filters and check by upload dates, you will get the latest one. Fundamental, customizing interface and shortcut. This is not what we want. Interface and zoom controls, complete beginner course. So this is something which seems like will work for me. And this is only 2 weeks old. Okay. So if I click on it, it will basically tell me about uh, Blender and what it does and things like that. So I would suggest you go through this, and if there is some very particular thing that you do not understand, you can go onto YouTube and search for it, and you will get many examples of what they are. Or you can come and ask me also, and I will solve your problem over there. Okay, selecting a mesh in 3D and viewport shading and things like that. Now this is the task. Okay, Blender, make a chair series. How to move an object, how to constrain, duplicating an object, and things like that, basically. And yeah, so edit mode in Blender, वगैरह. Let's see. These are very basic thing. Everybody who uses Blender in this entire world has to learn what these things are. Okay, there is no shortcut to this. So you have to go through this and basically go through the entire thing. So these are very short videos, like 3 minute videos, 4 minute videos, so that it doesn't uh, bog down on your like cerebral capacities. Okay, cool. So basically, what we are going through this is we are trying to make a chair in Blender. So let's search here how to make a chair in Blender. Cool. So there are multiple tutorials over here. If you see, there are so many tutorials that you can follow. You can also follow this. But what has happened in the last session, like last edition of the Virtual Museum competition, is that people started moving into YouTube to make their own chair. And that actually kind of helped because we over here are tackling the basics. So once you get the basics done correctly, you can then move into making a table and chair using all these useful tutorials over here. Okay, if that is something that you want to do, and this is also acceptable. All right. So now that we have spoken about making a table and chair, so how are we going to submit this submission? Cool. So let me just open this and let me make a new folder called week 2. And in that week 2, I will make a new folder called uh, Blender, Table, and Chair. We'll make this big so everybody can see. We will do this. So we have saved this folder somewhere in the computer. Okay. So I usually save it away from C drive because C drive, if the computer gets corrupted, C drive is going to get wiped. So I do whatever important files that I have, I don't save it on the C drive. I save it on D, E, or whatever other drive or other partition that I have. Okay, so I've made a folder called week 2 and Blender table and chair. Usually the best idea is basically make a folder called VMC 6 and put week 2 over here. So that ways all your virtual museum competition files are in one place. So in this, you should have week 1 also and put your family genealogy video over here. So that way, always make a folder because if you don't practice this from the get go, your computer is going to get very busy and you will not be able to know which file is in which location. So it is important that you organize your files from the beginning and start using it as a practice to make folders. Okay. So you can put week 1 video over here, whatever you downloaded from Canva or things like that. And let's go into week 2. And here we have Blender table and chair, correct? So let me just open Blender and see what happens. So I have the latest version of Blender now, 4.3.2. Okay. So we'll wait for it to open. So this is what Blender looks like. And let's suppose I have made the table and chair. So let me just quickly delete this. Let me quickly make a table, a chair over here. Okay. You don't have to follow this. I'm doing this because I want to save this file somewhere. And I just want to show you what is going to happen over here very quickly. And basically, we will fill this up also. Fill, fill, fill. So you don't have to follow this. It's just I'm trying to make a table and chair very, very quickly so that we can move. Let's say we made this stool or table or chair or something like this. Now I want to save this. So if you go into file and save as, and then you basically go into Virtual Museum 6, week 2, Blender, table and chair, and then you type your name or whatever, week 2, table chair, and save it over there. So if you go back to your folder over here, week 2, Blender, table and chair, it is over here. Now, why is this important? Why are you organizing it in this manner? Is because once you save this Blender file, you can close this. Now you have your Blender table and chair. Okay. Now it is saved over here. If I open it again, Blender is going to open again. And now you have this table and chair file over here. Now I want to basically add image texture. So let's go into Google. So if you go into Google and search for wood texture, and let's just open, if you go into tools over here, it says size. If you go into large, it will give you large files. Okay. So you can select what this unsplash is free. So if I right click, save image as, and it should say JPEG over here. Okay. The file type should be JPEG or PNG, or it shouldn't be web. Okay, web it shouldn't be there. And where should I save it? So I'll go back to the place where uh, Blender is there. So D VMC6 week 2 Blender table and chair. So this is where my Blender file is saved, and I will call it wood texture. Cool. So if I go back over here, see, wood texture is saved over here. So I want to apply texture on this. Let me quickly make a material. So all this is available, okay? Wood texture, and over here I'll call image, open, wood, open, and then wood texture is over here. Cool. So this is how you can basically apply image textures on your Blender model and basically make your thing. So if you go onto YouTube, how to apply image texture in Blender. So it gives you many tutorials which will basically solve your problem. Okay. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm back. So yeah, so why have I saved this image texture next to the Blender file? Okay, now let's assume I move this image texture from here to some other location, not on this folder. So if I place X, go outside and paste it over here. Okay, so now there is no image texture over here. So if I go into Blender again, I will close this, save. I will go and open this Blender file again. So now if I go into material preview, now it suddenly shows pink. So whenever you start seeing pink, it means that the image which is being used to add color to this object, that image file path is not able to find that image over there. So image file path is over here. So if I click on this small open image thing, so this is the file path. Okay. VMC6, this folder I made in front of you In that folder, there is week 1 and week 2. And in that week 2, there is Blender table and chair folder. Okay. This is VMC 6, week 1, week 2. In that week 2, there is Blender table and chair, and the image is supposed to be here, but it is not here because I just moved it over here. Yeah. So this is very important. A lot of our participants get confused why their models are start showing pink uh, pink color instead of the image texture that they reference. So Blender is not able to find this over here. Okay. So that is why it becomes really, really important that wherever you place this image texture, like I'll press Control X and paste it back over here. So I moved it from here to here. Okay. So once you place it in the folder, don't change its location because Blender is using this file path to use this in its Blender path. Okay. So let's go back here. Now the wood texture is back again because I moved it back inside that folder. So if I click and press open, suddenly the thing is over here. I hope you are able to understand what this is. Yeah. Could somebody give me a confirmation? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Okay, cool. Somebody is asking, sir, can I make chair in any dimension? Dimension. So I'll tell you one thing about Blender. So by default, if you see, there is a floor on the Blender 3D viewport. Okay, what is a 3D viewport? It is all mentioned in the MD book, but basically 3D viewport is where you can see the 3D models. Okay, so there is a floor, and this floor has a grid. Okay, this grid is 1 meter by 1 meter. All right. So please bear in mind. So if this is 1 meter by 1 meter, what is this edge length? Can somebody tell me what this edge length is?
2 meter.
2 meters.
Yes. So now you know the dimension of this stool. Okay. So if I add a human, so you will not have this over here. So I'll just add a human for experiment sake. And let me see if we can add a human. So let me just add a human. Cool. Now, I'm only showing you this because somebody spoke about dimensions. So this is actual human. So if a grown man is standing on the floor, this chair is that big. So obviously this chair has to be smaller because it has to be like at least this height of the human. Okay. So I'm using very, very advanced commands over here, okay? But the objective over here is to understand that Blender is very, very powerful. And I've been using Blender for, I don't know, like 2, 3 years now. So I got really, really good in using Blender. And this is the actual dimension which should be there. Okay, so let me just scale it to 0.5. 0.5. So now 0.5 means shrink everything by half. So first it was 2 meters, now it is 1 meter. So I want to scale it even further with 0.5 again. And yeah, so that is basically it. Somebody has a question. Tanvi, you have a question?
Yes, I wanted to ask, sir, can we make the image, the whole like image texture on the floor?
You want to add a floor?
Because it's all in the grids, right? So if
Yes, add a floor also. If you go into add, mesh, plane, So it gives you a plane which is again 2 meters by 2 meters according to the grid. So you can scale it and make it really, really big. So this becomes like a floor.
Okay,
Okay. So
sir.
all of this is more advanced. But what my point is you need to get good at Blender. That is the objective of the competition. And Blender is an individual submission. It doesn't matter if you are in a team or an individual participant. Everybody has to make a table and chair and submit. Okay. Uh, cool. So let's basically go back to my point, which is somebody was asking what should be the dimension. So this looks like a right dimension. Yeah. So this is like a right dimension over here. So what is the length over here? So if I go into measure and I activate vertex snapping and click and drag, it says 0.5 meters. 0.5 meters is 50, 50,
Centimeters.
50 centimeters or 500 millimeters. If you have a scale, you can check what that is. But it looks like a decent size chair. Yeah. So it's not that big like it was in the beginning. Yeah. It isn't this big. This is the actual size of the chair, but we shrunk it to human size. Anyways, that is another issue altogether. If you want, I can give you a human figure. I will put that on WhatsApp group and you can shrink it. So once you design the chair, you can shrink it to the size that is appropriate later on if you want to. Now, let's go back to submissions. Let me press save over here. I'll save it and close this Blender, close Windows. Okay. So now this Blender, this is the Blender file. This is the backup of the Blender file. So basically, if Blender crashes, your computer is not able to take care of the high graphics of Blender. It makes a backup file. And this backup file is used to restore, like it saves some of your data. And this image is used by this Blender to add colors to your model. And this assets is basically because I downloaded that human model, this is that human model over here. Okay. So you will not have this human model in your thing. Let me quickly go here, general animation. So this is that human model which I just downloaded. You don't have to worry about this human model. I will share it with you so you can use it in your thing. So you will not have this file over here. Okay. So you will have these three files. But whatever the situation be, you have everything contained inside Blender table and chair. Now, how do you submit? So do you know what file zip means? If you right click on the folder and then click on compress to a zip file, if you click on that, it will create a zip file. At the end, it will be called .zip. Okay. And the name is same as Blender table and chair, like whatever the folder name is, that is there. So I accept this. So you have to submit this file onto the portal. So let me go to the portal over here and task section, submission over here, like how to do all of this is over here. And in here, you see upload your submission here. Upload or drag and drop your file .zip. Okay, we just created a .zip over here. So I'm going to drag it and I'm going to place it over here. Okay, it is showing me this. Let me just do it. Cool. So basically, this is how you can drag and drop the zip file that you just created. So I think everybody is going to have a compress option. If you do not have a compress option, So zip file, uh, if you want to understand what zip file is, zip and unzip files. If you just type zip files on Google, you can basically learn what zip files are. Usually, what zip files are, when you have too many uh, files you want to submit, you basically put it in a zip format. What zip format does, it combines everything into one file, and it also reduces the size of uh, the entire thing. For example, the size of this uh, folder is 16 MB, but the file size of this is only 10 MB. So it reduced it from 16 MB to 10 MB. So it gives you double benefit. It combines all of these into one file, and then it also reduces the file size. So it becomes easier to share. So whenever somebody asks you to share something and there are multiple files, you can zip them and then send it on the internet. Ridan, you have a question?
Sir, do we need to send everything that we use, like you put your texture also in, or do we only need to send a table and chair?
Yes. So, like if you remember, what will happen if I move this texture image from this location? Ridan?
Sir, the Blender won't be able to find it.
Yes. So when you submit, if you submit me only the Blender file and not the texture, what will I see once I download the zip file?
A pink table.
Exactly. So I think that answers your question. So whatever texture you are going to use, please put it in the zip file. Okay, the zip file has to be included with all the textures that you are going to use more than one textures. Okay, if you want to like really impress me and make like a nice blender thing, you can do like very cool stuff. Tanvi, you have a question?
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask, the table and chair would be two different folders which we'll have to zip it in, well, like one folder.
No, you will make the table and chair in one Blender file. So, for example, I just made a table, sorry, chair, for example. I can use this and make a table also. Okay, like that. Now, this is a very weird table, but it serves a purpose basically. I'll put one chair over here, scale Z. Uh, put one over here, and then so I made like an entire scene, okay, where there is a table and where there is a chair also. So everything has to be in one Blender file. Don't give me multiple Blender files.
So
Okay.
we'll have to make people, or it's not necessary.
Making people is not necessary, but I will still give you this model or some other model so that you can put it in your Blender file if you want to. So how do you put people in your Blender file? Let's say I've deleted this, okay? I don't have the people thing. I will share this model with you. This Blender file, I will share it with you. So once you open this, uh, general 2D animation, let's say, and give me 1 second, general animation. Yeah, let's close this. So let me just save this file so that I can send it to you. Lot of things over here. Let me just make it and send it right now only. Oh, okay. So this is the Blender file. So you select this, you press Control C, you go back to your Blender file, and then you paste it over here, and then you have this. Okay. So let me just save this file, save as human for VMC 6. Yeah. And I will share this file with you so you can basically use it in your folder. Cool. Niharika, you have a question.
Yes, I just wanted to ask whether we are supposed to make normal tables and chairs like this, or is it okay if we go like different ones?
You can make any type of table and chair. Okay.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
I will tell you about the evaluation metrics in some times, then that will help you design your table and chair. Okay. Does it matter, sir? I'm not able to change the view. Somebody is not able to change the view. See, before trying anything, please get used to the user interface of Blender. Go through the videos that we have provided in the learn section. Please go through all of these. And if this is still not enough for you to understand, please go into YouTube and search for things. And if you still don't understand, please call me and I will solve these problems for you. Niharika, if your doubt is clear, please put down your hand. Uh, cool. So great. So all this is done. Uh, it's coming as section plate. Sudhavna, I have to take it separately. That is not the point of this meeting. I'm trying to explain what to do in Blender table and chair. Okay, I will come to you. Okay, I'll take your doubt separately. So cool. So that is how you have to submit. So I've given you all the ammunition that you need to basically use it. And I will just paste this here. So on the WhatsApp group, I have provided this human for VMC6. So you can download it. And as a matter of fact, you can cut it from here and paste it over here actually. Human for VMC, you don't need this thing anymore. Oh, so I have to close this and then I can delete it. Okay. So put this and once you zip it, you can zip it here, compress to zip file. Okay. So how do you open a zip file? If you right click, extract all, it is going to ask where should I extract? This is the same location as this. And you can basically extract. And then it basically shows me all of this. Yeah. Cool. So I have to leave for some work. Yeah, you can leave, please. Nalin, any doubts?
Yes, yes, sir. Like there are a lot of like 3D models available online. So could we use them and like change them?
No, you have to make everything by yourself. If you use a 3D model, you can use it for inspiration, but you have to make everything yourself. The objective of this week is for you to learn Blender, not to copy paste Blender. Okay? Yugam.
Okay, sir.
Actually, sir, I just joined in because I had another class. So
No
can you tell
worries.
what is that?
This is a recording and it will be uploaded on the portal. So you can watch it after a few hours because Zoom requires some time to make the video available for us.
Okay,
Nimit?
sir.
Sir, I was asking instead of only using Blender, can you use other 3D designing apps like Tinkercad?
No, use Blender. Only Blender is allowed. No other 3D modeling software is allowed. Okay. Anything else? So I will move on to the criteria part of things. Let me just delete. Cool. So I'll just quickly go through what is the evaluation metrics that we are going for. Okay, week 2, table and chair. Cool. So basically in week 2, again, table and chair, you have 2 weeks time to submit this zip file. Okay, 2 weeks from now. Is that understood? Please confirm.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yes.
It has to be a zip file submission. It has to be this submission. Don't just give me Blender. Okay, only Blender, only this. It has to be .zip format. That is okay. And next is what is the criteria? You have to make a table and a chair. If you make only table, your marks will be cut. If you make only chair, your marks will be deducted. You have to make a table and a chair. In fact, I encourage you to make an entire dining scene. You can make like uh, multiple chairs around a table. You can make there are different kinds of tables, there are different kinds of chairs. You can make an office chair, you can make a dining chair, you can make a lounge chair, and you can make a table also. There are different kinds of table: dining table, conference table, lounge table, different kinds of tables. So take inspiration from internet and see if you are able to make a table and chair. Okay. So both models have to be available. At least table, one chair has to be available. You can keep duplicating them. That is another issue. Uh, are textures applied? For example, I've used this texture. So you will also use a few textures when it comes to making blended table and chair. Yeah. Then let's go into next thing. How original or unique is your design? So some submissions, they're going to follow whatever is there in the MD book. Yeah. So in the MD book, this is a very, very simple table and chair. So you can submit this also. This is also acceptable. But if you want to gain extra marks, so you have to basically start designing your own table and chair. Okay. What that will do is it will first of all make the table and chair your own. This is your design. You made it. Okay. That gives you extra points. And in the process of making a new design, you are learning how Blender also works. Got it? So this is very important. So if you go and search for chair design, let's see what we have. If you go into images, there's so many beautiful chairs that you can basically look at and think like, how do I make this in Blender? So keep thinking about this. How do I make this in Blender? And if you have any kind of doubts, please reach out. I will help you in understanding Blender. There were a lot of participants in the last edition who have actually very impressed me a lot. They have done a lot of work. They've put lighting, they've put a floor, some of them put walls, and some of them put cloth also on the table. So they became really creative with their submission. So this is your time. You have 2 weeks to learn Blender and make a table and chair. Please blow our minds and make something really awesome. Okay. Table design. Let's look at table design. There's so many beautiful tables out there, like this round table, square tables, and let's look at this cool table which is like that. This is so nice if you can make this in Blender. All right. Any questions till now, Tanvi?
Sir, I wanted to ask how to add like that. If we imagine we wanted to add lights in like in the air, so you told how to put things on the floor. So how will we
Yes.
hang it above?
Yes. So basically, Blender is a virtual environment. So if you put something in the air, it will basically stay there. What exactly is your question? Do you want to add lights in your scene?
Yes, like I want to. If I want to add hanging lights, how will I do it?
You can do that very easily, actually. Let me open Blender again. Uh, so I'll answer your doubts. Let's go on to Ahan. Ahan, what is your doubt?
We have to make a table and a chair. So can we add some humans also?
So the human is there to basically just tell you what the dimensions of the table and chair should be.
So
Okay.
can we keep it in it? So can we keep that in the piece?
You can keep it. You can use it as a reference to the size of the table and chair. Okay. And use the human that I have provided. Don't use any other human. Why? Because there are no additional marks for using humans. The only reason why I provided human model is that so that you can know what is the size that you are working with. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Nalin,
Sir, like I have like a question, like I want to add like some reflection in the table. So how could I do that?
so basically, you have to make a material called reflective material. If you go on to YouTube, reflective material blender. YouTube is the answer for everything in this world. So you know what is the number one search engine uh, in the entire world? Can somebody tell me?
Sir,
Google,
Google. Google.
Awesome. What is the second?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Exactly. So everybody comes to YouTube. So over here you have lots of things, okay? How to make material in Blender. But before learning about reflective material, how to make a material in Blender. Let's say, let's just see what happens. So this is really, really intense for beginners, okay? Let's search. Instead, PBR, don't go into PBR material. PBR means physics based rendering. So they use physics and all of that. So that is very intense. Now, this one is a very nice, this person, CG Essentials. He basically talks about Blender in a very simple manner, and you can learn about that. Cool. Ridan, your question?
So does the size of the table matter like in comparison to the human? Does it have to be like his knee level or is it fine?
See, if you are, I want you to add a human in your scene, and you have to make the table with respect to what the table will look like in real life. So imagine, I don't know what your height is, but let's imagine your father or your mother is standing next to a table. So how high the table should be? I think the table will come up to their waist height. Okay. It is usually 900 millimeters from the ground. So somewhere near 900 millimeters is acceptable. So if you make a table which is at the eye level, so that's not a table anymore. Understand? So basically the size has to be close to what it will be like in real life. So that is the objective.
Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Ridan, if your question is done, yeah, cool. All right then. So I think we are sorted for what we have to do. Nimit,
Sir, I was asking, can we make holes like strips in objects, between objects?
can you make holes as in
As in, like bar-shaped holes.
you can make anything in Blender. Uh, have you seen the movie RRR?
Yes, sir.
That was made in Blender, all the CGI. So Blender is very good, and on top of that, it is free. Okay, so there is no limit to what you can do in Blender. If you get stuck in how to make something, search it on YouTube. The reason why I'm asking you to search on YouTube is because afterwards also when you're using Blender, maybe I will not be available. So you should be able to solve the problem of finding the solution. Okay, how to find a solution is the skill that I want you to start cultivating. Okay, if you still are not able to do it, reach out to me and I will tell you how to do it. Okay. So I'm going to provide us the human figure. The human figure is already provided. It is on the WhatsApp group. So please download it and save it in your Blender table and chair. Human for VMC over there. Okay, this one. I think I can show you what I have done with Blender till now. So if I go into So this is my website. It is going to take some time. So let me just go into product design, let's say. It will take some time to download. So all these icons I made on Blender. This entire animation that you see is made in Blender. Yeah. This thing is made in Blender, for example. So everything on my website is made with Blender. Cool. Do you guys like it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Sir,
Nice animation, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So basically, if you go into design education, if you see the animation over here, it will take some time. Do you recognize this animation?
sir, it's on the website.
Yes. So this was made in Blender. Okay. And these are the submissions of the previous participants. This was made by students over here. So soon you will also make something like this
So,
in
sir,
Blender.
one of our creation will be put over here.
Yes. If your submission makes it to the grand finale, it will end up in this grand museum, virtual museum. Okay? So, guys, please blow our minds. All right? Any questions? Any questions, guys? At
No,
least
sir.
related to Blender? Nothing? Cool. So once you start going through the MD book, you will basically understand a little more about, you will get more doubts. So please reach out and then we will basically get and do more things. This was made by a student of mine when I was in e-Yantra. This was made by Diliban. He was a design intern. This was made in Blender, for example. But he was a college student, so he was able to do all of this. All right. Cool. Awesome. All the best, guys. I think we have hit 1 hour mark, and I think we should stop over here. I'll stop sharing. Any other questions, sir? Can we make more than one? What more than one? What exactly are you going to make more than one? Chaturya, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what do you mean by more than one?
Like more than one designs of tables or chairs, etc.
See, you have 2 weeks to make. If you can make more than one table and chair, you make it. You just give me work which you are proud of, and then we will take it from there.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Tanvi?
Sir, can we add more than one or two figures, human figures in our project?
Again, human figures are there just to tell you how big the table and chair should be, and it is not there to give you marks. So you can add because you want to add, but I will not give you marks for adding more humans. But you can still add if you want to.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think you can add at least one human because it will make you understand. The question was, do we have to add human into our scene? I think yes. At least add the human that I have provided on the WhatsApp group. That has to be present. The reason why it has to be present is because I want you to see how big the table and chair that you are making in Blender is. It is important because later on, when you're making the virtual museum, the exhibition, we are going to use the human model to see how big the artifact is. So if you see in this Blender thing, every exhibition has a human standing next to it. So when you add a human, I'm not sharing, sorry. Let me just share this. So if you see, there is a human standing next to every exhibition. So when you add a human, suddenly you know how big the artifact is. Yeah, because we understand human scale. All right, cool. Any more questions?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. So all the best, guys. Start learning Blender and all the best and make like beautiful designs and submit the zip files.
Yes,
And
sir.
please reach out if you have any doubts.
Thank you, sir.
Sanjana, Prem, do you have anything to add before we close? All right, I think we can close now.
Madhu sir,
Yeah.
should I just go over the evaluation metrics one?
Okay, evaluation metrics. We will go. I went through them. I'll just repeat them again. You
Uh,
need to have both table and chair at least in your Blender model. You need to apply image textures on your table and chair, and how beautiful or how creative is your table and chair design. Okay, these are the evaluation metrics.
okay, so this task has a total of 100 marks. Alright. Now, if you realize you've released week 2 and 3 together. Okay. So just give me a minute. Alright. So there'll be a quiz which will be added shortly. So that will be for about 20 marks, and your submission for the table blender table and chair is going to be 80 marks. Okay, and the evaluation will be done on the parameters that Madhu sir has just mentioned. Okay, just a minute. Alright, so one thing, while if you notice in your student portal, you will realize that go to the schedule section and Madhu sir, is it alright if I share my screen? Mhm. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just a minute.
Sanjana, are you sharing?
Yes, sir. Is my screen visible?
Your screen is not visible.
Acha, okay. Alright. I'll just share my screen again. Okay. Is my screen visible now, sir?
I see Sanjana has started sharing. Yeah, it's now visible. Yes.
Yeah. So this is your home page, right? In the schedule section, if you see that, yeah, here. The deadline for Blender table and fair submission is 24th of Feb, which is coming Monday. Alright? So make sure that the while you are completing the task for Blender, we have also released week three resources. We have also released week three resources and we request you all to start going through them. We'll be having a live session on Friday. In that live session, we'll quickly go over how you're going to select your artifact and please, as much as possible over the weekend, identify places that you can go to for artifact selection. Go over the artifact selection and photogrammetry modules so you'll get an idea of what to expect or what to keep in mind while selecting your artifact. And in the live session, if there are any doubts, then we can go over that so that you are able to select your artifact in time. Okay. So while doing week two tasks, please go through week three resources as well. Okay. Now, as of now, you can't see a quiz here, but there will be a quiz. There will be a quiz and we will be releasing that pretty soon. Once that is up, we'll drop a message on the group so that all of you will know that the quiz is up there. So the division of marks is 80 marks for your Blender submission and 20 marks for your quiz. Okay. All right. So yes, Samad, so that's it from me. If there's anything else, any other doubt, if
Yeah,
not, then I think we can close.
we will close, and if there is any changes, we will basically communicate on the WhatsApp group. All right, guys. I think we have well exceeded the 1 hour mark. I think we should disperse, and if there is anything more, we will basically have like one-on-one discussions. All right, guys. See you. Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye,
Bye.
sir.
Madhu, sir, could you wait back for a couple of minutes?
We will join some other link. We'll leave this.
Bye, sir.
Bye.